So, this Saturday, second episode, it's still real to me. That's my wrestling show. That's my wrestling podcast. My guy, Joey Levine, Joey Levy was a kid I grew up with. Great guy. My guy, Joey Levine, he co-hosts with me every Saturday. It's still real to me. And where we give you a comprehensive weekend review. We cover all the top stories in pro wrestling. Raw, Dynamite, SmackDown, Rampage. If there's a pay-per-view, we would do a reaction show like we debuted last week after WWE Crown Jewel. So this week, it'll be a recap in the week that was. And there's a lot of stuff to get. Austin Theory on Monday night. He blows the cash in. Bobby Lashley, clearly a heel. You had Dynamite from last night. Bryan Danielson, Sammy Guevara. Great main event. So this Saturday, make sure you're checking out It's Still Real to Me. I'm excited to get to episode number 2. I do need to give you a little pro wrestling right now, because I don't know if you saw this yesterday. But yesterday, so JD from New York, he's a podcaster at JD from NY206. He hosts a wrestling podcast called Off the Script. And I saw he linked to this yesterday where, you guys know, if you're a wrestling fan, you know Road Dogg Jesse James, New Age Outlaws, DX, D-Generation X, Attitude Era. So the Road Dogg Jesse James, and he came out with this quote. I don't think I was a good wrestler. I don't think Bret was a great wrestler. I think I was a better sports entertainer than Bret, and I think that's where the money is, end quote. Now, he's talking about Bret Hart. I don't think I was a good wrestler. I don't think Bret was a great wrestler. I think I was a better sports entertainer than Bret was, and I think that's where the money is, end quote. Holy shit. That was my reaction when I saw that. Holy shit. Now, everybody loves Road Dogg. Bret Hart, pretty polarizing guy, pretty polarizing figure, but everyone can acknowledge he might be the greatest technical wrestler of all time. And for me personally, Bret Hart is my all-time favorite wrestler. When I was a kid, my dream was to be in the... He just was dripping with cool. If back then, you gotta remember, late 80s into the 90s, a guy wearing pink, a dude wearing pink, and you could still look cool, oh my God, he was the coolest. When I was a kid, my dream was to be in the front row at a WWF show and Bret Hart to come over and give me his glasses. That would have been the greatest day ever. Bret Hart, while being a great technical wrestler, was not great on the microphone. Now, he got better once the Attitude Era began and that whole deal, and you gotta show a little personality in that regard. He got better on the microphone, especially when he became champion. You gotta talk. You can't just be next to the anvil looking cute. Road Dogg Jesse James was amazing on the microphone. Not a good wrestler, but amazing on the microphone and super popular. I don't think I was a good wrestler. I don't think Bret was a great wrestler. I think I was a better sports entertainer than Bret was, and I think that's where the money is. That's a very polarizing thing to say. I know the pro wrestling fan is like, ZASLOW, where do you stand? Well, what I stand is Bret Hart is my favorite wrestler of all time, and I don't stand for anyone saying anything negative about Bret Hart. But I understand what Road Dogg is saying here. Now, you got to remember, back then, it wasn't always about the entertainment. And when I say it wasn't always about the sports entertainment aspect of it, back then, you were able to be an amazing wrestler like Bret Hart and tell a story in the ring like that. Shit. The story that Bret Hart and Stone Cold Steve Austin told, WrestleMania 13. Yeah, Bret's not great on the microphone. That match told the whole story. Double turn, one of the all-time great matches. Bret Hart, Shawn Michaels. I forget which WrestleMania it was. Was it WrestleMania 11 maybe? Iron Man match where he loses the belt to Shawn Michaels. You're telling an amazing story without saying anything. You can do that without being great on the microphone. And Bret Hart carried that company for several years. He was their champion. And he's widely considered maybe the greatest technical wrestler of all time. You didn't have to be so amazing on the microphone necessarily and still be able to do what Bret Hart did. But I understand what Road Dogg is saying here, because the best example I can come up with where can you be a great sports entertainer without being a great wrestler, like the Road Dogg was. The best example of that is, I'll give you a second to think about it. You know what it is. The best example of that is Hulk Hogan. Hulk Hogan. No one understood and worked the crowd better than Hulk Hogan. Amazing. Yes, he was obviously amazing on the mic, but in the ring, the way he was able to work the crowd, have them respond to him, take them on a journey, Hogan was not a good wrestler. No. Hogan was not a good wrestler. He got like 3 moves. He's got the leg drop. He's he'll give you an atomic drop. Hogan's he's got the hulking up and the punches and the big boots and the leg drop. That's it. That's his moveset. Hogan was not a good wrestler. He was an amazing sports entertainer because the way that he understood the crowd, he was great on the microphone, he was good enough in a ring. He knew how to tell a story. And you saw that with him and Rock. What was that, WrestleMania 18, I believe it was? Hogan's a great example of that. One of the greatest of all time, maybe the greatest of all time, was not a great wrestler. Amazing entertainer. So I understand where that's coming from. But man, I'm not here for any Bret Hart slander. I am not here for it. And you got to understand, Road Dogg comes from that place where like Triple H, Shawn Michaels, Degeneration X, you got the whole incident with Bret Hart, Montreal Screwjob. They're not exactly on the same side, I'm not here for any Bret Hart slander. But I understand what Road Dogg is saying. I kind of wish he kept Bret's name out of his mouth when making that point, but I get what he's saying. All right. Make sure you tune in this Saturday. It's under the ZASLOW Show 2.0 umbrella. If you subscribe to ZASLOW Show 2.0, I love you long time, and it's still real to me. We're going to be recording the 2nd episode this Saturday, recapping all of this week's happenings in pro wrestling. So please check that out. I'm very excited about that. Also, shout out to Barrett Sports Media. If you saw on my Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, at ZASLOW Show, Barrett Sports Media, Jason Barrett, Sports Radio PD, Brian No did a Q&A with me a few days ago. Story came out yesterday just talking about me leaving terrestrial radio, starting up ZASLOW Show 2.0. And I'm super appreciative to those guys. They have always been really good to me. They've done several stories on me over the years. I think it's the top sports radio, sports media, blog, website, however you want to put it, publication out there. And they've done several stories on me, including the one yesterday, which is super helpful, of course, because it helps get the word out. That's key. I got to get the word out, let people know where I am, what I'm doing now. And I thought the piece came out really well. So go check it out, Barrett Sports Media. Go to any of my social media pages, and you can see I linked to it. And I'm super appreciative of those guys. They've always been really, really good to me.